Obama's poll numbers are continuing to crater. That's what we'll talk about today, and I hope you have a nice lunch. This should be good for your digestion. You know, we've been talking about Obama's poll numbers now for several of these videos, but Gallup just released a fascinating study. They do daily polling of Obama's image. It goes up and down, but they released the quarterly summaries of what they have been for each quarter of his presidency. And here's how it stacks up. In the third quarter of 2010, right around the time that we were having the congressional elections, his ratings were about 44.5% approval. Then after he got schlonged in the election, he began to move a little bit more to the center. And in the fourth quarter of 2010, they rose to 46.0, and then 46.7, and then 46.8. So there's a little bit of a recovery going on. In the quarter that ended September 30th, they went from 46.8 to 41.0. They fell literally by 6 points. And over a 3-month period of daily tracking, that data doesn't even have a margin of error. That is absolutely the correct number. So it's interesting that we realize that we've been critical of Obama for many years now. But it was really only after May and June when the country began to realize that the economic problems were not being solved, the recovery was aborted, that we were going back into economic difficulty, that Obama's ratings really began to crash. So when you look at his prospects in the 2012 election, realize that when he lost the 2010 election, he had 4 or 5 points higher favorability than he does now. And the odds are that it's going to continue to drop. It also is very clear that his class warfare stuff isn't working, because it's precisely during this period that his ratings have dropped that he's done all of this attacking of the rich and, you know, all of this populist demagoguery. So the more he continues it, the more it's likely those ratings will decrease. Now, on another front, it's interesting what's happening with the Republicans in Congress. The news media likes to report that congressional approval is at an all-time low, and that's true. But, you know, you have to have somebody in Congress. Is it going to be a Democrat or a Republican? So every time Rasmussen polls, he asks the question, or I guess every day he asks the question, generically, regardless of the names, in your district, do you plan to vote for the Democrat or the Republican for Congress in 2012? And what he's found is that ever since the 2010 elections, it has been a solid 54-48 Republican lead over the Democrats, an 8-point 54-46, an 8-point Republican advantage. It closed to within 1 or 2 points twice. Once was in the days right around the time the debt limit was voted on, the 1st of August, and immediately after his jobs address to the country, around September 10th or 15th. But after that, it went right back to the 8-point Republican margin. So it is very clear that the Republicans in Congress still have the strong upper hand with public opinion, and that it is very possible, that we will get 50 or 55 senators, and it is even possible that we could get as many as 60. So have a nice lunch, and we'll chat tomorrow.